Alicia, over to you.
Okay, so firstly about the jury. Purpose and role. The Nuclear Fuel Cycle Citizens Jury was engaged to review the Royal Commission report and summarise into an independent guide. The goal is to help every South Australian understand the opportunities and risks of increasing South Australia's involvement in the nuclear fuel cycle identified by the Royal Commission. Who we are. The process to select the citizens' jury was random. 2,500 invitations were randomly sent to citizens across the state using the Australia Post database. There were a total of 1,121 respondents that were willing to participate in the jury. Of these people, a jury of 54 was randomly selected to align with census data for age, gender and location. We have a little diagram there that will be changed to fit our needs. So we're going to have, the jurors' ages ranged from 20 through to however old, and we're a diverse range of social and cultural backgrounds. The jury was provided with a copy of the Royal Commission report and access to information and a diverse range of experts enabling an informed discussion. Details on individual witnesses can be found at Your Say. We'll put the link there.
Keep going, Nick.
Okay, so now the nuclear fuel cycle. What is it? The nuclear fuel cycle can be summarised into 4 areas: mining and milling, enrichment and fuel fabrication, electricity generation, used fuel management and disposal. And we also have some diagrams here taken from the report and some that we've designed.
Okay, so you've got a concept there.
So these will be colour coded. So we had that in the report, we had that circular diagram of the 4 stages, and we're going to colour code with those circles the different stages and dot point the recommendations. Okay. The Nuclear Fuel Cycle Royal Commission focused on the storage of international used fuel, high-level waste, as opposed to the storage of Australian-produced low and intermediate level nuclear wastes. And then we're going to put in a box there that just, like a little glossary that just is really simple, just states what the different types of waste, high level, intermediate, and what is nuclear waste.
And a descriptor of what it is there.
We up to mining? Okay. So this will be in a table format. Mining, so these are the recommendations. Continue involvement, investigate reduction of red tape and undertake further geophysical surveys encouraging further private investment. Further processing and fuel fabrication. There is currently no international market for additional services in these areas. Remove legislative prohibitions to enable further processing activities and fuel leasing should a market appear. Promote and support increased use of the existing cyclotron at Samri. Oh, I've lost my place. Further Okay. Electricity generation. Nuclear power generation is not commercially viable in SA under current market rules, but could be considered as a future low-carbon energy source to contribute to national emission reduction targets. Remove existing prohibitions for nuclear power generation. Used fuel management and disposal. There is potential for economic benefit in providing a storage and disposal facility for internationally generated high-level used fuel waste. Remove existing prohibitions and complete thorough analysis and discussion on the opportunity to establish a used fuel facility in South Australia. Yeah, we have some footnotes there. Royal Commission. Okay, so now the focus for the citizen jury. Over 4 days of deliberation, the jury discussed all stages of the nuclear fuel cycle. Following the initial education and awareness sessions, the jury spent the majority of its time focused on the key recommendation to pursue the opportunity to establish an international used fuel storage facility. The jurors recognised that there are potential economic benefits, but there are also substantial risks to consider. There is a high level of uncertainty around both the benefits and risks associated with establishing such a facility. Significant additional research, economic analysis, and public engagement is still required before South Australians will be in a position to make an informed decision if this is in the best interest of the state.
Okay, all right, so applause. I don't know, does that mean good work or does that mean yes, we love it? So, what I'm interested in is let me see how to do this now. I've got a big table in the middle of our space. So there's some graphic stuff that needs to be added to that, which is okay. But in general, can you live with it? Yeah, let's do a show of hands. It's a bit boring, but let's do that. Can you live with it? Okay, so we might run the mic around just with some comments for who can't. Was it Belinda? I think you were the first one I saw.
I can live with it, but there were just some clarifying things that I'd like clarified. With the table that has the summary of what's in the report, I may have missed it, but is it possible to outline that the table is actually what's proposed in the report as opposed just clearly putting forward that it's not what the jury recommends, it's a summary of the report? And that might be...
So being really
inferred,
explicit.
but yeah, being a bit more explicit. And then I just wanted to understand what details of the jurors will be on the Your Say website. You've made a point that details can be found.
Jurors, the witnesses.
Oh,
Details about the witnesses.
Okay, sorry. And then the sentence that says 25,000 invitations were randomly sent, maybe putting randomly at a different point in the sentence, because the process was actually...
We took that from the invitation, so that was actually the piece in the invitation that went out to every single person that was sent an invitation. So we just used the same wording as that.
I get that the process is random selection, but just that the technique of sending them isn't random.
My understanding, Ian, is that the technique was random by Australia Post.
Invitation there. Yes, we pull a random extract of addresses in the first place, and then it's a 2-round random stratified draw. I'm just going to check that wording, but yes, the addresses are pulled at random.
Okay, let's have a look at it. So the process to select the citizens' jury was random. 25,000 invitations were randomly sent to citizens across the state using the Australia Post database. Total of 1,121 respondents that were willing to participate in the jury. Of these, a jury of 54 was randomly selected to align with census data for age, gender and location. Okay, all right, so take that. 25,000 invitations were sent to randomly selected citizens. Randomly selected addresses? Yes? Randomly selected addresses? No, addresses. So hang on a minute. It was addresses. Ian said that's perfect. Yep, because Ian did it. So the other suggestion was, do we take the first sentence out there? No, leave it. Okay, so we're leaving that. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so comfortable? Comfortable. Belinda can live with it. Yay, progress. Okay.
I just had just a thought that I understand the point that Belinda's making about the process itself, whilst being a random one, was, sorry, I get a shaky voice, the process was very structured and measured, so maybe saying the process to select the citizens jury was unbiased. I'm happy with random, but just...
Okay.
I completely understand what you're saying. We stuck with the word random because it's a word that a lot of people use it's just easy general terminology, biased or unbiased and so forth. I think everything was quite wordy, so we were trying to, because we get into a bit of technical stuff, trying to just make some of the easy to read stuff that people are just going to browse over, just a little more general.
So can I suggest citizens were selected at random? Yeah. That sound fine?
Okay, can we live with this? Let's just leave it. Can we live with it? Can we live with it? This is one sentence. Liz has got bigger fish to fry, children. Okay, we comfortable to leave? Yeah, there's hands everywhere. You need a mic.
It was mentioned that we come from a diverse social and cultural background, but as I've discussed with different people over the couple of weekends, we also come from different educational backgrounds too. We've got a lot of qualified people here, so I just like social, cultural and education backgrounds.
Okay, yeah,
Simple
makes it
word.
nice and stronger.
Yeah.
Social, educational and cultural backgrounds. Okay, Shane, you've got a
Just a
comment?
very quick one. If Nick can go down to the bottom, right down the end. Is that the end?
Yep, that is the end.
Just so you've talked about use fuel storage facility, but you then also referred to it as a fuel storage disposal. I just like the facility as being common, so the descriptor that we're using
Needs to be consistent.
Yeah, and we've also talked about the fact that if we do go down this path, there is a potential some of these used fuel rods could be used as power sources in the future.
Okay,
So therefore,
what's
you may not
then-
necessarily dispose of it. So
Right, so
storage
what's the
facility,
suggestion?
I think, is a better vernacular to use through the entire document rather than disposal. That's all.
Okay, so a used fuel storage facility being the language. Okay, comfortable with that? Okay, good. All right, did someone else have a non-live, can't live with it? Cheryl? Okay.
It was just a grammatical
Can we
thing.
come back? We can do grammar in a bit. Let's do grammar in a bit. Stan, I thought there was someone over here. Anyway.
So at the very end, there's a section that says something like there's a high level of uncertainty regarding risks and benefits. The wording, high level of uncertainty, I'm not super comfortable with that. I think that the people that put the report together put in quite a lot of effort to try and take out a lot of that uncertainty.
There is a level.
I think that was just one of the editing things we missed. Sorry.
You need to use a mic.
I think that was just one of the editing things we missed out. We ran out of time at the end before we got to take out a couple of the wordy words as well, and so we
Sure.
were going to remove that. Thank
Okay.
you
So just
for
saying
pointing that
there's
out.
a level of...
So it's been changed.
Thank
There is a
you.
degree of uncertainty.
Yep, okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
Look at that. Look at us go. Okay, Chris, I think you're going to be my last one and then we're moving on.
Thanks. On? Yes. Coming back to the random selection, I'm interested to know whether the profile of the respondents, the 11,021, was similar to the random profile of the 25,000.
All right, we might park that one because I don't think it needs to be in there. What we're doing is looking at this report. So we might park it. We'll get Ian to answer that question for you if you like later. Is that okay? Yep, okay. All right, I'm being a hard taskmaster. Okay, Brett. Jeez, causing me trouble.
Why can't we call it high level waste? Yeah, fair enough. You got intermediate level, low level waste, high level waste. Why do we keep changing the name and trying to sugarcoat high level waste? But you want to use a common word
No,
for it.
so
It's
it's the facility, the name of the...
Well, any time used fuel is used, it should be high-level waste. Well, can't we use that all the time instead of used fuel?
Because it's not weapons-related high waste. It's only used fuel.
But that's still high-level waste.
But there are other high-level.
If you don't call it high-level waste, it reduces the impact of the title of it. It makes it sound nicer than what it is.
Okay, so the thing is high-level waste. The facility is a used fuel storage facility.
High-level waste facility. Storage facility.
Okay.
For some reason,
That's not quite correct, because it's the discussion that we can also use it for low and medium.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's just pause. Let's just pause and go to what's at the root of this problem. What's at the root of this problem? What's making you really unsettled?
it feels like it's being sugar-coated with a new title to me.
In which part?
Anywhere, the whole report has, there's, I don't know, hundreds of referrals to used fuel. Once in the book, page 30 or something, it says high-level waste in brackets. It should be high-level waste the whole time.
But there is also low-level waste.
No.
There need to be, no? There needs to be a storage.
I just want the waste to be called waste and not renamed in any aspect.
So, Brett, what you're saying, let me have a go at this. What you're saying is instead of calling it used fuel storage facility, you want to call it a high-level waste storage facility.
Even if it can have low and intermediate. It
High,
can have
low
high.
to
So that's...
Grab the mic. Grab the mic. Grab the mic.
If you look up there, we've actually used exactly your terminology, high-level waste. If you scroll where we, even in that part, in that paragraph, sorry. Go back up, Nick, sorry, to be a pain in the proverb.
There is a difference between...
No. It might be reused. I don't think you're referring to the storage facility as such, but it's where we use the term.
It's the terminology that bothers me, yes.
Yeah. So not necessarily in that sentence there is up higher.
And, well, any time that we try and write used fuel, it should be high-level
All
waste.
right, can I
you
ask a question?
I just want to point out that it's actually there, and I think Jenny made a point. See, we've got used fuel. Do we take high-level waste out of bracket and just say used fuel, high-level waste, as opposed to storage?
Yeah, if you'd like to make it used fuel, high-level waste, fine.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, there is actually a definition opportunity here. I'm wondering whether you want some help from the Royal Commission around definitions, or whether you want to resolve it yourself. Because this sounds like a sticky point. Okay, Jordan, are you in a position to give us a bit of what you know? I'll get you a microphone. Okay, we're looking for clarity here, so...
There is actually a difference between used fuel and high-level waste. So Australia is party to the International Atomic Energy Agency, and the International Atomic Energy Agency classifies the types of radioactive materials. What it says, and on radioactivewaste.gov.au, says that used fuel is not high-level waste. That is the international classification, because used fuel can be later used. It can be reprocessed. So high-level waste is not the subject of the Commission's report. We would be taking used fuel should this go ahead.
Jenny, go to the microphone.
The used fuel, while it's not classified as waste because it can be reprocessed, is what level of radioactivity?
The level of radiotoxicity right? So you have been introduced to that concept is outlined in the Commission's report. So you see that big graph which shows what it is when it comes out of the reactor and how it changes over time. So that is what defines the radiotoxicity, which is a combination of radiation effects and potential biological effects. Defines that category. No, it's not.
What we'd like from you then is a simplicity or simplify that. Okay, so what we're asking right now is to have a terminology
Yep.
that clarifies what we're trying to say. So used fuel is what we've used in there.
Yep.
And behind that, we put in brackets high level.
No. I'm not saying that used fuel is low-level waste, but no, it's not. It's very high. I'm just saying that it starts off, at X level with the Commission's report.
Okay, so back to that, where
Yeah.
we state, see
Yeah.
we've got storage of international used fuel.
Yep.
And then in brackets we've got high level waste. Is that correct?
We'll confirm that.
Okay, so this is let's just pause on this. We'll come back to this after lunch. Okay? So, yep, just shade used fuel and high level waste yellow or something. We're not going to forget about it. So, temperature's down. Children, let's relax. This is good. This is progress. Okay.
Can I just
Yes.
ask one more question?
Yes.
Whatever terminology, when I know that we're handing over a Word document at the end of today,
Yes.
which will require obviously some finessing, will that finessing, so the same language, be used throughout?
Yes. So this needs a little really fine tooth over it that hopefully a couple of you will do. All right, come back. Let's come back and centre ourselves. Progress. So I hear we can live with this if we resolve that little niggle. Okay, well done. Good job. Okay. Nico, you're off. All right, so we're going into, let's do one more before lunch. So that was section 1 and 2. I'm thinking maybe we go to the group that I was with, because we had 3 and 5, but we kind of smashed it together. So who's our typist and our talker for the group that was with me? Who do we have? Belinda's going to type. I'm going to turn you around that way. Okay. Who is talking from our group? Yes, there you are. Beautiful. Okay, let me just open the doc. Okay. Off we go, Caroline.
So we worked on section 3 and section 5, which was engaging the community and the gateways going forward. So the decision-making process involves many stages. The first stage was the Nuclear Fuel Cycle Royal Commission. Following the citizens' juries and community engagement process, which is currently underway, the government will make a decision on whether to proceed to the next stage. The community will be involved at every stage. We're not sure, I think we talked about maybe not having this title, but this is the next stage of really engaging the community. Yeah. I didn't even notice that, that's awesome. We, the citizens' jury, call on you, our fellow South Australians, to join us and be part of the process in deciding our state's future. This is a unique opportunity to be involved in a decision-making process in shaping the future for South Australia. Any future decision about the nuclear industry in our state will have long-term commitment and consequences. The decision will affect not just us, but future generations. We encourage you to participate with an open and inquiring mind. Your voice will shape the future of our state and our descendants. Have #@YourSayNuclear. Everyone's choice, everyone matters. and then get involved at will have the details of the web address and the phone and the email. We then wanted a section about the principles of the decision-making process. We, the jury, were asked to consider the principles we believe are important for all people to use when discussing South Australia's involvement in the nuclear fuel cycle. These are legitimacy. A legitimate decision must include all people. Inclusivity. There must be continual community consultation. Transparency. All sources of information must be freely available. Consequences. Due consideration must be given to people, our economy, and our government. Our environment.
No, not the government.
Sorry. Accountability. Decision makers are accountable to the community. Consider the future. There must be serious considerations and more debate of other alternatives. We also must consider future generations of South Australians through all stages. Distribution. Potential economic benefits must be shared and accessible to everyone. Ethical. All decisions should be. That's a typo.
It's meant to be should, I think. All decisions
should be ethically and morally sound. What's good, what's right, what matters. Sorry, it was a bit shaky.
Well done. Great job. Good job. Okay. All right. Let's start with our who can live with it. If you can live with it, stand up. Okay. Thanks, Caroline. You can run the mic. That's a good idea. I'm going to tell you, you've got sneakers on.
Just a question about how deceptive it might be in the start there about saying being part of the decision making to say sound individual shape, and maybe changing that to something like shaping.
So you in the first paragraph?
Yeah. In the process, we the citizens jury call on you, our fellow South Australians, to join us to be part of the process in deciding our state's future.
So the word you're looking for?
Shaping, or
shaping?
like having a part, because ultimately not every individual is going to be deciding.
Okay, comfortable with shaping? Yep, okay, I see nods. Yeah, there we go. Up you get. If you can live with it, up you get. Okay. Who else can't live with it? Yeah, you need to keep standing. Come on, this is good for the blood. If you can live with it, you need to stand.
There's one word that I'd like changed. I think we should include in the, and I can't remember where it was because I can't read it.
You need to keep that right up close.
I can't read it on the screen, so I'll have to just rely on somebody else's knowing where it is on the screen.
We can find it for you.
I think when we have there's a sentence about the community, I think we should include informed community making a decision, because there's no point in people making a decision if they don't understand what they're making a decision about. I can't remember the sentence. It was on the second, down the bottom, I think, on the second.
So maybe scroll down a bit, Belinda. There were a series of principles in there. Okay, so maybe up a little bit.
It's a unique opportunity to be involved in the decision-making process. Is that
We've got a point in there that says,
Find on community?
we encourage you to participate with an open and inquiring mind.
One of the aspects of having this big community program is to inform people about what the decision is about. And it seems silly to spend...
So that sentence, when I was up there listening to the group, was about the spirit in which they wanted people to participate. So an open and inquiring mind instead of block, 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 or go, go, go. So this openness to learn and participate authentically was what they were trying to get to.
We
that's
could
right.
maybe add a point of be engaged and informed.
Okay. Be engaged and informed. Stan?
Okay, that's similar to the point that was raised. Another juror actually said the same thing I was thinking, was that being informed comes after being inquiring. So saying come in and have an inquiring mind, and then they look through this and hopefully they come out more informed later. You can't start out informed, I think is the...
So, is there a change, Stan?
I don't think there's a change.
No change?
I agree with what's already there. I think saying that someone should start out informed is kind of putting the cart before the horse.
Yep, okay. So, Dulcie?
When we say we encourage you to participate with an open and inquiring mind, what's that mean? If you could, but if you could give me some examples, how participate, how, what do I need to do? It's only a
So
question.
there'll be links about
It's only a
where
question.
you can participate. Is that what you're meaning?
I mean, if we could give these guys, these people examples about you could participate when you go and read, when you go and talk, when you meet with other people. I don't know. I'm asking a question. What's the meaning of to participate with an open and inquiring mind? It sounds beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I accept it. I want some clarification about what is that.
Caroline, do you want to, or Belinda, you can respond to that.
I don't know if this would make a difference, but we encourage you to get involved and participate with an open and inquiring mind.
And so there's a get involved bit which will be there with this is the ways you can do that and find out more.
We wanted to, because we didn't want to put too much detail in there, we thought we'd put get involved at and then have the links to the website, the phone number, and hopefully there's more info in that. Is that not enough? Is that not enough?
Remember, somebody said yes.
May I just make a quick point as well? I think we sort of we had a small discussion on this as well. Not everyone has the internet access. Not everybody that we're providing this information to has access to telephones and so forth. So although I think what you're saying is where we're saying participate and get involved, we need to give reference to how they can do that and not just put a link on there, because as I say, this is a print media. A link on a print media isn't going to help someone that doesn't have access to the internet or can't use the internet for whatever reason. I think maybe that was just clarifying what you...
I really want to hear the how. Because yesterday we heard there are people that they don't use internet.
So
Okay.
maybe, oh sorry.
So could potentially we either make a change or we actually ask the agency to provide us with a companion bit that has that information. Yeah, well, a bit of that information we need anyway from the agency. So there's, I mean, there is a lot out there. Yeah. So, yeah, the agency's doing that. Yep. Yeah, there's a whole range of ways that John took us through yesterday morning. So we need that in something simple. Charmaine.
I was just thinking we could start that sentence with a, great, you've taken the first chance, your first opportunity, you've picked up this brochure. Now we encourage you to get more involved and participate. Because remember, they've picked up this brochure to read that sentence. So we're just like encouraging them to go further and dig. So that was one comment there. And my actual statement was actually about the community, remembering that we are multiple communities.
Our community.
So, and I think, I don't know the language going through, but we can't use the community.
So what do you want to say? Our community? Is that what you're looking for?
Communities, all communities throughout South Australia, something like that.
What do you like?
What about the community of South Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, the community of South Australia. All South Australians.
But we are one community. At the end of the day, we're talking about South Australia as a community, surely, not just individual communities.
Okay, so the South Australian community will be involved at every stage? Yep. Is this worth dying over? You comfortable? Okay, who else can't live with it? Boys? You can't live with it? Oh, you're happy? Just don't want to stand up. Come on, have you good? Okay, happy? Comfortable? Righto, comfortable? Oh, you're not comfortable. Look at him, he's in the middle of the circle. Here he is. He's still sitting down. Microphone. Thanks, Dulcie.
So there was a section in there on the about debating alternative fuels.
So there was, yes, there is something in there about alternatives. Under the consider the future, there must be serious considerations and more debate of other alternatives.
I read that as an implication that the report does not consider other alternatives. Whereas I think the report gives a pretty balanced view of how nuclear fuel would sit in as in the mix of available fuel types. So the wording in there made me a little uncomfortable because of that.
Okay. Hang on, need a microphone. I don't know where they've gone.
Could we just put in further serious considerations? So to imply that yes, there has been consideration, but there should be further.
Emily, have you got an addition?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the intent behind the debate around other alternatives. Are we saying other alternatives to this particular part that we're focusing on in the Commission, or other alternatives other than the nuclear fuel cycle?
So the
I think
intent was...
all other options, any other avenues.
Okay, so the suggestion was, for the reword?
That the considerations must be for like wind, water, wave, all about anything, not just
Yeah, okay, so what are we writing?
Everything.
What are we writing? What are
There
we
must
writing?
be further
There must
serious
be further,
considerations.
yeah, further serious considerations of all other alternatives.
There must be further serious considerations of... There must be further consideration of...
But what are we actually trying to say with this sentence? So I think consider the future as a principle is a good one. Considering future alternatives, that's very frankly wishy-washy to me. It kind of, using the word alternative kind of springs to mind of alternative energy, which
Could we say
I think is kind of a dangerous area to get into.
Okay, you've got an option?
I'm thinking leaning towards alternatives to engaging further in whatever the wording is, the nuclear fuel cycle.
Did you want to speak to
Okay, so what's on the table is, do we have, I suppose we've got a decision in front of us, do we either talk about we need to consider other alternatives, or we remain silent on it? If we say it, how do we say it? Someone got a suggestion for us? Go, Stan.
I think in one section we had a nice bit of wording that said it is our choice whether we go ahead or not. Does that basically cover what we're trying to say here?
So the suggestion is under consider
Sorry,
the
we've
future.
got someone over there trying to say something,
Yeah,
but
sorry.
I can't hear.
Can I have it? Oh, do you need it? Yep, sure. Really close. Has to be really close.
My point is that they haven't actually considered any other sort of technology. All they are is sort of putting their views about the nuclear waste. So why can't they also think about...
Too far away, put that closer.
Why don't
yep.
they also think about new technology as well?
So can...
It does talk about base load versus alternatives. Alternatives are great, I'm not against them. But, just to reiterate, I think alternatives are a valid point. I'm not trying to denigrate them at all. I think they do form part of the mix. But I just like that part of the mix, part of it, to be clear. This is not an alternative of nuclear or alternatives. There are nuclear parts to this discussion, and there are alternatives. Yep, they're great. We should do them, but that doesn't mean we don't do this.
Okay, so we need some words. You can sit down if you want to sit down.
Can we?
It's taking a while.
Is that one? That's so one sentence, right? So consider the future. Future considerations and more debate of other alternatives or other sources of power, waste disposal. You know, do you want to elaborate on that? Or economic growth? Actually, that's a good one. Yeah. Economic growth, because then that covers everything, doesn't it?
So the sentence, what's the sentence?
So consider the future considerations and more debate of other economic growth opportunities.
Further consideration and more debate of other economic
opportunities.
Consider the future of economic debate?
No, it's consider the future, dash, further considerations and more debate. So you can go up, Belinda, up to where it was. Further considerations and more debate of other economic alternatives.
Could it just be consider possible futures? It doesn't have to be economic, social, you know, that's everything encompassed. It's a, no?
Can I just clarify maybe the intent behind what we were trying to say? We were asked to consider principles of decision-making process. So just as part of any person or group of people moving through their process of arriving at a decision, that it's important to consider alternatives. It wasn't alternatives to, that's just a part of the process that people go through.
Yeah, okay, so it's about all alternatives. Stan, you've got to...
Yes.
All options?
So options was the word I was going to try and put out there.
Consider the future. Further consideration and more debate of other options. We
So
also must consider future generations.
Maybe something along the lines of we should be open to what options are available. We must also consider future generations of South Australians through all stages.
Okay, can we live with this as it is without changing it too dramatically? Further considerations and more debate of other options. We must also consider future generations of South Australia through all Australia. Yes? Can we live with it? Well done. Chris, are you going to open another can of worms? We've got one more. Hit save.
Could we go back to the open inquiring mind, please? Which was just above that.
We encourage you to get involved and participate with an open and inquiring mind.
To become as informed as possible. This group as a whole seems to be a bit ambivalent about this education and information. On the one hand, we're asked to recommend pieces out of the Commission report, but whenever the question of education or information, which is part of our responsibility, comes up, it tends to be moved on one side. So I think information about our fellow citizens is one of the most important things that we have to consider.
Okay, all right, Caroline, do you want to, one of the Carolines?
My understanding, layman's terms, is that we're actually just putting a document together about the Royal Commission document. The education of the community is down to the program that will follow this.
Okay, so there is a suggestion by Chris to add that little bit that's highlighted in blue to become as informed as possible. Tam?
This is us informing them that they can be involved. I don't think putting that in, we're telling people what to do, and that wasn't our job. Our job was to do exactly what we've just done. I don't think that needs to be there. If they want to find out more, they're going to.
What parts of the Commission report should we encourage our fellow citizens to read?
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it's picked up. Khadija, can you get us out of the mess?
I have a comment to make about that. I'm very, very, very insistent that I say it. All we have to say is to participate in informed discussion. Because you can talk to people about anything, so it doesn't matter. We want them to talk about...
Participates there?
Yeah, participate in informed discussion
It's not up to us to tell people what to talk about, and I think that's what you're trying to say. If
No,
someone's-
I'm not. I'm saying that you can talk to somebody about something and make a decision about something, and the thing doesn't have anything to do with what you're making a decision about. We want people to participate in something they know something about. I mean, everybody can vote, even
So what's written up there is that we encourage you to get involved and participate with an open and inquiring mind.
Just quickly.
Just go to Khatija first.
I've been waiting a while. Excuse me. Yeah, I can't live with that either. I feel that language is very value laden, and I think informed. How do you? Yeah, it's sort of got this. What's the word? Yeah, about telling people, and I mean, from my experience,
there's some grit there.
I have discussions with uninformed people all the time. I don't have a choice about that, but I've developed the skill and ability and an open and inquiring mind into their way of thinking. So, and for my family and my community and my future generations, the way we make informed decisions may not be in the way that is acceptable to you or to you or you, but in my culture, it's good enough. You know, it's acceptable. So just because I sit on committees with people that can't read and write, so when I have to take a role in informing them, or I sit on committees where people, like my elders, they rely on me to be informed and they trust my judgment. If I'm not sure about something, they expect me to go back to them. But it's not about being informed. Being informed is not necessarily, this is standard.
Okay. Yeah, great. Thanks, Khatija. So I'm sensing there's a bit of grip on that.
Just
Two more
a quick
comments.
one. There's going to be people that are going to want to participate in this who choose not to be informed.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
They'll actively choose to not read this, to not do further investigation. They've already made up their mind on some things, but they'll still want to participate in it.
Yeah, okay. Aramis, have you got one more? Hang on, I'll
I
come
think
back.
it's good how it is.
Just hang on. We need calmness. Aramis, have you got No, you good? Okay, so I'm hearing that we don't like that bit, to become as informed as possible, because it's a bit directive. Cheryl, you want to close us out on this?
Yeah, would it be better to just finish the sentence with, we encourage you to get involved and participate, full stop. Your voice will shape the future. The people that don't seem to like the open and inquiring mind, and the ones that don't like to become as informed as possible, would it be better to shorten that sentence? We encourage you to get involved and participate.
Okay, I'm hearing out of the corner of my ear that like the open and inquiring mind. Is that what?
I think we're all just talking about the informed bit.
The informed bit?
Your choice, my choice. Who wants to be informed? Do what you want.
Further to the point that not everyone is going to choose to become informed, they might have made a decision and they're going to enter the conversation without an open mind. We're inviting the whole South Australian community, whether they're open-minded or not, whether they're informed or not. So those kinds of words may be seen as excluding those people.
Okay, Stan, last one, and then we're going for, we need to resolve this and then go for lunch.
So the way I see this is that the language can be taken as kind of preachy or condescending. So how about we say something like, we encourage you to participate and learn more.
Just get involved.
Okay, so I heard no, that's a non-winner. Bad luck. Okay, let's have lunch. We'll start back on this because we need to resolve it. I sense we're still, and it's just a little bit. Just have a think about what you can live with. We've got 1 minute when we come back. Hang on a second. Hang on before you go. We're running late, so if we can come back, be back in the room as close to 1:30 as possible.